Welcome to Empowered Leaders Who Empower Others. I'm Barbara Gustafson, your host, and the purpose of this show is to share stories of people who have gone through challenges, have overcome them, and are now empowering other people. And our special guest today is Joni Kanazawa. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, sure. So share with us your personal story and what led you to where you are now.
There's so much of my personal story. We're originally from Georgia and moved here for my husband's job. Shortly after moving, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. The ironic thing was, back home in Georgia, not only did I work full-time, but I was also an advocate for cancer awareness. So we already had a little bit of that awareness piece in our world. It was amazing, though, all the fears that go through your mind when you hear the word, C word. It was terrifying being in a new place and not really knowing people, but all of those people that had, that we had met through our awareness and advocacy back home really rallied around us while we were here. So it's truly not created who I am now, but it's been a catalyst into the path that I am now taking.
Wow. And what was life like for you before then, before you found out?
Honestly, I loved Georgia. I missed my family. I missed my friends. I mean, who wouldn't? I'm a Georgia peach. I was in a new place and I was homesick. Trying to find my way here. My husband had a new job. My little girl, 4 at the time, and she had a new school. It was a challenge, but trying to rediscover my new version of my new self. It was already a challenge in this new place, but then discovering cancer brought a whole new, bump in the road to us.
Absolutely, because you were already going through so many transitions. I mean, just relocating and experiencing the culture between Georgia and Virginia, even though Virginia is considered the South. It's
Sorry,
not
but
the
yeah,
true
no.
South. I'm from Virginia. I can admit that.
Yeah.
So just those transitions and not being able to have the support of the family. I mean, you had their support, but to physically be there and to even find the doctors in this area if you weren't familiar, with the medical care in this region.
It was frightening because to your point, my parents came up when they could, and our family came up when they could. But they're, back home and not having that support system right here and not knowing exactly, we didn't have even a regular general practitioner. We didn't have a dentist.
Wow.
So trying to figure out who in the world do I go to for an OBGYN to say, I have a lump. Who do I then go to for cancer care? But I tell you what, it was amazing how when things started happening, and I did get some references from the friends that we had made up here on an OBGYN, and it just rolled. I went to Mary Washington, to the Regional Cancer Center there, and did the imaging there, and they were amazing. Dr. Blanchard for my surgery, and then Fredericksburg Oncology, and Dr. Vaughn for all of my wonderful chemo, and Dr. Chenault for radiation. But it became the home away from home because that was my new support system that we didn't have before. And they became our new family away from our, blood family.
And I think you touched on something very important. We all need a support system. Even when things are going well, we need that support.
Absolutely.
And especially for the turning points in our lives that we weren't expecting, just to have the people around us to carry us along. Let's talk about maybe some of the people that have influenced you, whether before you got your diagnosis or someone that you met along the way. Who would those people be to help shape who you are today?
My parents have always, given me a work ethic, you work hard, you play hard. And my grandmother, she always said, you're going to only pass this way one time. But then there's one lady, Gigi, who truly inspired me. And I would love to tell you about how Gigi impacted my life.
Please do.
She actually was diagnosed shortly after she was diagnosed when she was, I believe, 20 weeks pregnant. And she and I were pregnant together with our little girls. And she was diagnosed with colon cancer. We were neighbors and friends, and she had always been the one that helped everybody in our neighborhood. And seeing how she battled back home in Georgia with so much grace and dignity, and how she brought her children home to homeschool them while she was sick so that she could be closer to them. It became so amazing to me to see how she handled that with so much grace and dignity that when in turn I got sick up here, I looked to what would Gigi do and how would Gigi Locke handle this? And it really inspired me.
Wow. And I think that whenever we're going through a struggle, when we can find someone who has gone that path before us, who can take us along and just really encourage us, that's who we want to latch on to, because we need those heroes in our lives, especially when we're at rock bottom.
Absolutely. Gigi lost her battle, but she wouldn't give up that pregnancy. Her baby girl is now the age of my daughter, and she has 4 beautiful children and a wonderful husband that are still, sharing her legacy. And we have a pink fire truck named after her in Georgia.
Wow.
And it's wonderful to, again, to no matter what challenges life throws your way, you think, what would Gigi do?
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing about her. She sounds amazing.
She was a strong lady.
Wow. So what's maybe 1 or 2 life lessons that you've learned through your journey?
Oh, to narrow it down to 1 or 2. First, chemo brain is real.
Wow.
That was one thing for me that through being an advocate, I had no idea about. You think you know it all, and I didn't realize. But personally, even beyond cancer, just getting out there and helping others, no matter what it is, whether it's finances or anything.
I want to hear more about this when you talk about chemo brain, but we've got to go to a break.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.